We will continue with individuals' domiciles, deemed domicile status, and the tax consequences. A quick recap of whatever we have learned so far in the previous video we will see, and then solve this question. Test your understanding 6. Okay. See, individuals' domicile status. Individuals' domicile status, the country which is individual's permanent home is the domicile of the individual. Usually, individuals get their domicile status at birth from their father. Domicile status of the mother will be acquired if father died before the birth or parents were not married at the time of birth. Till the age of 16, the individual's domicile status is of his father's. After the age of 16, individuals can change their domicile of choice provided they have to settle in another country and they have to prove evidences that they have the clear intention of making that country their permanent home. Okay, and just because they lived in a country for a long period will not give them the domicile status. Okay, so they have to give some evidence, either they acquired the property or they have the intention, they acquired home and they want to live there permanently like that. Then the individual can change their domicile choice, the domicile of choice. Okay. Yeah, next one, if the individual is not UK domicile, he may be deemed UK domicile. He deemed to be UK domiciled. Okay, when the individual is deemed to be UK domiciled. Two things they said: formerly UK domiciled resident, okay, long-term UK residents. Okay, long-term UK residents. Formerly UK domicile residents means they are UK residents and they were born in the UK. They have a domicile, UK domicile of origin, and in the relevant tax year they are UK resident. So in these cases they are deemed to be UK domicile. Long-term UK residents means they were UK residents for the 15 years out of the 20 prior tax years. Okay, long-term UK residents. 15 out of 20 tax years immediately preceding the tax year. Okay, next one. If the individual is domiciled or deemed to be domiciled. Okay, if the individual is domiciled or deemed to be domiciled, he is liable to UK income tax on all his income in the UK and also overseas income as it arises. Okay, UK income tax on UK income as well as overseas income. Okay, this is one point. Next one. An individual is UK resident but neither UK domiciled nor deemed UK domiciled. So only for his overseas income. UK income he is liable to pay income tax, UK income tax. Only for overseas income he can choose remittance basis. If he doesn't want remittance basis, it will be based on arising basis. That means he'll be paying tax on all his income overseas. Okay, when we say remittance basis, again two things we have seen. Remittance basis is automatic in some cases. Some cases the individual should make a claim. Okay, when the remittance basis is automatic, we have seen if the unremitted unremitted overseas income is less than £2,000, then the remittance basis is automatic. And next case when remittance basis is automatic is if an individual is UK resident. If an individual is UK resident, but this only comes under neither not UK domicile, not UK domicile deemed. Okay, this is mainly under individual is a UK resident but not UK domiciled or deemed domiciled. So if he wants to go for remittance basis is automatic. If the overseas income of the individuals which is not remitted is less than £2,000. Okay, when again next point, when that remittance basis is automatic is individual is UK resident but he is neither UK domiciled nor deemed domiciled. He has no UK income, he has only investment income which is less than £100. He do not remit income or gains to the UK in the year, and he has not been, not more than 6 out of the 9 years preceding the tax year he has been UK resident. That means it should not exceed 6 years. He has not been UK resident or has been UK resident not more than 6 years out of the previous 9 tax years, and he is under the age of 30. In all these cases it is automatic. Otherwise they have to make a claim. In their self-assessment tax return they will make a claim for the remittance basis. Okay, if they claim remittance basis, no PA, no nil rate band on savings dividend and no annual exemptions. Okay, if they don't want remittance basis, the individual can go for arising basis. So in that case, he is liable to UK income tax on his UK income as well as overseas income. Okay, now we will see these questions, questions related to this. See, test your understanding 6. The following details relate to 4 different individuals who are all non-domiciled in the UK and are all taxed using a remittance basis. Okay, see, all are using remittance basis. Okay, next one, and we also studied about remittance basis charges. We will see the points related to that. We will go one by one. Ivor, he became resident in the UK in 1415. See his income. Overseas income and gains not remitted to UK is big, but they are telling they are using remittance basis. He is a resident in the UK for 5 years. So what is the question? What RBC does each have to pay? Yeah, we didn't revise that. What is that? RBC charges, remittance basis charges. We didn't study. We studied, but we didn't revise. Okay, we will quickly see the remittance basis charges. For the remittance basis charges, what they are saying is, this is a charge for the overseas income not remitted to the UK. First one, what is remittance basis charges? It is a charge for overseas income not remitted to the UK. Okay, individual is liable to UK income tax on UK income and overseas income remitted. So whatever they are not remitted, they are not paying anything. So there is remittance basis charges. Okay, when the individual is liable to remittance basis charges, if first one he is 18 years and above. Second point, he claims remittance basis for the tax year. That's why they are charging him remittance basis charges. He claimed remittance basis current year. He is above 18 years and he has been UK resident for at least 7 out of the 9 immediately preceding tax years. He has been UK resident for at least 7 out of 9 immediately preceding tax years. Remittance charge. And again, next one, what is the charge? £60,000 if the individual has been resident for 12 out of the 14 immediately preceding tax years. £30,000 7 if he is a resident for 7 out of the previous 9 tax years. Okay. Yeah, next one. So now we'll see the question. See, Ivor, he became resident in the UK. He is resident in the UK in last 5 years. Last 5 years he has been resident in the UK. But see the point here, who are all non-domiciled in the UK. Non-domiciled in the UK, and he is a resident in the UK for 5 years. When and again this is not remitted, overseas income not remitted, and they are not UK domiciled, or they are only resident in the UK. Only if the income is remitted, then they are liable to pay UK income tax. Okay, now the question is, what remittance basis charges each one of them have to pay? If we take Ivor, no, first of all, the point here is the income was not remitted. He is only he is a UK resident only for a period of 5 years. When remittance basis charges arises, we have seen, no, if the individual has been UK resident for 7 out of the previous 9 tax years. He didn't stay for 7 years. I mean, he has not been UK resident for 7 years, only 5 years. So because of that, remittance basis charges will not arise. When remittance basis charges will arise, you have to know clearly. The individual claim remittance basis, he is above age of 18, and next one they said, no, it depending on the number of years they stayed, it will come. The remittance basis charges is applicable. Next one is above age of 18, and yeah, that's it. Next one, he made a claim for remittance basis, and he has been UK resident for at least 7 out of the 9 years. He's not resident for, so no charges. In his cases, you can say he will not get any charges. Okay, next one, Sasha, no. Sasha's income not remitted 220. She claimed remittance basis C. 13 years she lived. So 13 years she lived means 12 out of the 14. One of the rule they are telling is if the person has been UK resident for 7 out of the 9 years, yes, so there is a charge. £60,000 if the person has been UK resident for 12 out of the 14 preceding tax year. So her charges should be 60,000, no? See here 9 years. Yeah, so the person is stayed for 7 out of the previous, has been resident for 7 out of the 9 years. Yes, there is remittance basis charges, but he is not been resident for 12 out of the 14. So only 30,000 will be the remittance basis. P is less than £2,000. See, overseas income not remitted is £2,000. 21 years. Okay. 21 years he has been resident. Anyway, the amount is less than 2,000. So even if he is a resident for 21 years also, automatically remittance basis is applicable. Okay. So last one, the unremitted income and gains is less than 2,000. So no longer remittance basis itself is not needed. See, this point is given here. The remittance basis will still be automatically available for deemed domicile individuals if their unremitted income is less than 2,000, but in this case they said less than 2,000. See here, less than 2,000 remittance basis is automatic and PA is available. It's less than 2,000. Okay. So you can say he can this is less than there is no charges only. He's automatic it is. See, remittance charges arises only when they claim remittance basis. Here if the remittance basis is automatic, you can write that RB is automatic. So no RBC. Clear, no? These are all good questions. Oh God, I just should go. Okay, less than 1,900 automatic remittance basis, no remittance basis charges. Okay. Yeah, next illustration 2. So here the answers, yeah, whatever is there, written here. Mr. and Mrs. Rich are domiciled in the USA but have been resident in the UK for last 10 years. Resident in the UK for last 10 years. So we have two rules, no, formerly UK domiciled and long-term residents. For long-term residents, we say 15 out of the 20 prior tax years only will make them long-term residents. Here they are only residents for 10 years. The income for the tax year 1920, overseas income and remitted to the UK. Decide whether or not Mr. and Mrs. Rich should elect for the remittance basis to apply. Assume they have no UK income. Okay, first of all, you have to say clearly say they are domiciled in the USA but have been resident in the UK for the last 10 years. Okay, so they are not domiciled, deemed domiciled, isn't it? Okay, we can just work it out. In case they claim remittance basis, they'll be taxed only on 55,000. But they are resident in the UK for how many years? They are in the UK. Yeah, they are resident in the UK for last 10 years. So the rule is they are subject to remittance basis charges if they have been UK resident for 7 out of the 9 preceding years. So as such there will be remittance basis charges, and again if 30,000 pounds, no, 7 out of the 9 years means remittance basis charges will be there. Clear? First they are claiming remittance basis. In case they are claiming remittance basis, no PA. Only whatever amount remitted, on that they have to pay UK tax. See, they remitted only 55,000. Remittance basis they are claiming means no PA. So taxable income 55,000. If they do not claim remittance basis, it will be taxed on arising basis. Arising basis is 300,000. So they will get first one, they will get PA. They will get PA, but the amount involved is big, more than 125, no PA. So taxable income is 300,000 in this case. I'll do this, just we'll see the answer, then I'll do it. See, 300,000 means just 37,500, 112, 150. Overall tax comes to here, 37,500 into 20%, 7,500. Yeah, this is 45,000, 120,000. Whereas if they go by remittance basis, income is only 55,000. Yeah, 37,500 and the balance amount. Balance amount is only 55,000. No, I'll do this in detail. I'm just showing you the answers. 55,000 minus 37,500. 17,500 into 40%. Comes to 7,000 and RBC will be 30,000. So overall liability comes to 44,500. So it is advisable to go for Mrs. Rich. Who's the first one we did? We did for Mr. Rich. So Mr. Rich will be better off if he claims remittance basis. Okay, now I'll do this question in detail. First we'll take all the information. The person's overseas income 300,000, they are remitting 55,000 to UK. See, I'll write clearly overseas income. Okay, this is what remitted to UK is. Okay, next one, if is claiming remittance basis. So whatever remitted only, everything will go under non-savings. And no PA. If they claim remittance basis, no PA. Okay, and you can take this as a taxable income. Okay, tax 37,500. Okay, 17,500. 14,500. And don't forget, because she's claiming, he or she is claiming remittance basis, there is remittance basis charge. The person lived for 10 years. 30,000 pounds if they were resident for 7 out of the 9 tax years. Okay, if it is 12 out of 14 immediately preceding tax years, means 60,000 pounds. So 44,500 is the overall tax liability inclusive of remittance basis charges. Same person, if you do not claim remittance basis, if he is going by arising basis, means he will be taxed fully on this 300,000 pounds. Okay, see, arising basis means non-savings, overseas income 300,000, because it is a big amount, more than 125,000, so no PA. Okay, taxable income, first 37,500, 20%, higher rate is 112,500, 40%. Okay, then 300,000. $150,000. Okay, see, 120,000 if they go by arising basis. So better to claim remittance basis. Okay, so advisable to claim so the individual can check and then decide. Okay, next one we will do for, I think this is for Mr. Rich, right? Mr. Rich. Now we'll check for Mrs. Rich. She has overseas income 40, but she only remitted 18,000. Okay, and both of them are for last 10 years. Anyway, they are not domiciled or deemed domiciled. Only thing, they are claiming remittance basis or arising basis. Okay, for her we will check 18,000 and 40,000. Mrs. Rich. This is remittance basis. And then this is arising basis. Okay, what is she remitted? She has remitted out of her income of with her income how much? 40,000. She remitted 18 overseas income, non-savings 18,000 only she remitted. Okay, and for this no PA, because she's claiming it is not automatic. Only remittance basis is automatic, the individual will get PA. Because she's claiming, she will not get PA. This is taxable income. Okay, here 18,000 directly 20%. Arising basis means full 40,000 and the person will get PA. So 27,500 is taxable income. Okay, another point you should not forget is when the person is claiming remittance basis, there is remittance basis charges, and they all lived for 10 years, no? So 9 out of 12 years means 12 out of 14 years means 16 pounds, 7 out of 9 years means 30,000 pounds. As they all just lived for 10 years only, it is 7 out of 9 years only. 12 out of 14 means 60,000 pounds. Okay, so as such here it will be how much? 30,000 pounds. So overall 33,600. So better to go by arising basis, so they will have no problem. Okay, so you have to just write claim arising basis. Remittance basis is not advisable because they are paying more amount. Okay, that's all. So this is to understand whether the individual should go by remittance basis or arising basis. And don't forget, if they are claiming remittance basis, in addition to the tax they have to pay remittance basis charges. Okay.